All right, get this. The April 18th tax deadline is just 2 weeks away, and if you paused when I said that, you actually get 3 extra days this year to file because April 15th comes on a Friday. It's crunch time for millions of small business owners putting together their tax returns. On the campaign trail, candidates are playing up their business cred, none more, of course, than billionaire Donald Trump, who talked tough on China this week in Wisconsin.
Here we have something that's pretty interesting. I love you too. You lost 70,000 jobs to China. 70,000 jobs. 100,000 illegal immigrants living in Wisconsin. Taxpayers are paying tens of millions of dollars. We can't have China ripping us off, and Mexico and Japan and Vietnam. We can't have it. We can't have it. And they are ripping us like they've never ripped anybody before. We've rebuilt China.
Gene Marks, small business owner, consultant, writes a daily column about small business for the Washington Post. He joins us now. Gene, appreciate you being with us. First things first, you endorsing anybody yet?
Nothing yet. You know, Lena, honestly, I'm trying to keep an open mind until we hit November, and I'm doing a very, very good job at doing that so far.
All right. Well, we applaud you on the effort. As we look at what's going on here, depending on whose numbers you believe, there's about 28 million or so small businesses in the United States. It's a powerful voting bloc, folks who really care about their pocketbooks for obvious reasons and the laws that affect their businesses. What makes small business owners so different?
Well, small business owners, whenever they hear any kind of rhetoric or things that are coming out of Washington, it hits them directly, Leland, in their pocketbook. So whenever Washington comes back with more regulations, they do things with health care, when they talk about any type of new taxes, when you're a small business owner, it's not like you can just turn on a switch and increase your revenues. Usually those things are going to come right down and hit your P&L. So business owners that I know, I mean, we've got about 600 clients in my firm. I speak to business owners and write for them all around the country. They're very, very cognizant of how much Washington is going to cost them because it's a slow growth economy, and they want to make sure that they're able to operate as profitably as possible.
All right. Now, as you listen to Mr. Trump and not only do that but read his website, you've come out with a column that basically says, as a small business owner, specifically you, Mr. Trump's tax plan is the best. But as we've seen over the past 4 days on the issue of abortion, on other issues in the past, this sort of flip-flop and iterations of Trump's opinion and proposals that seem to go back and forth all the time. Are you worried a little bit that, all right, this is what he says today, but if he gets elected, he may do something else tomorrow? And for that matter, he's never actually gotten anything done in the political world. So how is he going to ram through his Trump tax plan?
Yeah, there's no doubt there's a concern. I mean, when I speak to business owners, first of all, he has a huge amount of popularity among business owners around the country. I mean, there was a recent poll by Manta, who's like a small business service, that showed that 60% of small business owners support Trump out of all the other Republican candidates.
That surprise you?
He's very, very. It does not surprise me at all. And I think the biggest reason why, there's really 3 big reasons. I mean, number one is when small businesses hear Trump, I mean, clearly it's obvious they connect with him, right? I mean, he's a business guy. He speaks no nonsense. He's not the typical politician from Washington. So when they hear him talk about stuff, they believe him, they connect with him, they feel that he is kind of part of them. So that's clearly the biggest thing that they connect with. Number 2, though, is taxes. And I did write about that for the Washington Post. When you run a small business, Lynn, most people, they generate their income, and their income falls through onto their personal income statement. Even if it's a business income, it's called an S-Corp tax return. It comes down to your personal income statement. Well, Trump is proposing the lowest rates of all of the candidates when it comes to taxes. I mean, he is putting forth a 15% business income tax rate. I mean, the current corporate rate is 35%, which means that for me, running my business and all of my clients, whatever income comes down to my income statement will only be taxed at 15%, which is really, really low.
Sounds pretty good.
So that's very, very appealing. Not only that, he, like the other Republican candidates, they want to eliminate the capital gains tax altogether. So, whereas on the Democratic side, Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, they want to keep it there. They even want to tax it at ordinary income.
Gene, up against a hard break. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me on.